In this lecture, we are going to study what is a gradient of a scalar field. So we have studied what is a divergence of a vector field. Then we saw what is the curl of a vector field. So now we are going to study what is the gradient of a scalar field. So scalar field it is just a scalar quantity in space. So in space, every point will have a unique value of a scalar quantity. So that will be called as a scalar field. So for example, temperature in the room. So temperature at every point in the room, for example, close to the air conditioner, the temperature will be very less, and close to the television or some electronic things, the temperature will be large. So therefore, in a room, at every point, temperature is having its unique value. So the scalar field, it is distributed in the space. Now we will see what is the gradient of that scalar field. So let's suppose any point P. First of all, the gradient of a scalar field, it is also defined at a particular point in the space. It is defined at a particular point. So at this point P also there will be some gradient of the scalar field. At another point there will be some another gradient of the scalar field. So gradient of a scalar field, it is defined at a single point. So similarly, the divergence of a vector field is also defined at a single point. So at every point there will be some value of divergence. Similarly, the curl of a vector field is also defined at a single point. So gradient is also defined at a single point in the space. So in this, let's consider the point P where we want to find the gradient. So now if we move from this point P, so let's suppose the at P point there will be some value of scalar function. Now this scalar field U, we are supposing that U is the scalar field which is having some unique values in the space. So U is the scalar function. You can take it as temperature by capital T. So I am taking over here the U as a scalar field. So at point P there will be some value of the scalar field. So at P point also there will be some value of this scalar field. So now we are moving from P point to some another point Q. Now at this point P, the coordinates are, let's say the coordinates are X, Y and Z at point P. So now we are moving from P point to Q point. So at point P there is some value of the scalar function. Let's say that is U1. U1 is the value of the scalar function at P, and the coordinates of P point are X, Y and Z. So when we are moving from P point to Q point, there is a change in the scalar function. Now at point Q, the value of the scalar function will not be U1, it will be some another value other than U1. So let's say that is equal to U2. And the coordinates of the Q point, let's say we have moved a very small distance from P to Q point, so that the coordinates, they just change by very small amount. So the coordinates at Q point are, let's say they will be X plus dx. So X is the coordinate of the P point. So the X component, the X coordinate for Q point will be X plus dx. Then Y coordinate is Y plus dy, and Z coordinate is Z plus dz. So these are the coordinates of this point Q, and the coordinates of the point P are X, Y and Z. So there is a very small change in the coordinates. So when we are moving from P to Q point, that is from one point in space to another point in space, there is a change in the scalar function. So the change in the scalar function will be given by U2 minus U1. Now we have moved a distance, PQ distance. Now the vector from P to Q will be equal to dx I cap plus dy j cap plus dz k cap. Now this vector will be equal to, the components of this vector are dx, dy and dz, because we have just moved dx distance along x-axis, dy distance along y-axis and dz distance along z-axis. So this vector will be dr vector. So dr vector will be equal to dx I cap plus dy j cap plus dz k cap. Now let's consider the change in the scalar field when we are moving from P point to Q point. So let's say that change in the scalar field is given by du. Now this change in the scalar function is given by, we have already done the expression of dt. So when we were writing the formulas for derivatives, so in that case we have written the small change in the scalar function, the expression of small change in the scalar function. So similarly du can also be written similar to that form, and that form of du was equal to du by del u by del x. Now this is the partial derivative. Now change in u with respect to x-axis times the change in the x coordinate. So the change in the scalar function with respect to x coordinate times the total change along x-axis. Now total change along x-axis is dx plus del u by del y, the change in u with respect to y-axis times the coordinate, the y coordinate which has changed, which is dy, plus the change in u with respect to z-axis times the distance that we have moved along the z-axis, and that is dz. So this is how we write the change in du when we are moving a distance of dx I cap plus dy j cap plus dz k cap. So this is how we write the change in the scalar function, small change in scalar function when we are moving from one point to another point in the space where the scalar field is distributed. Now this expression, it can be written in the form of a dot product. Now dot product, we know a vector dot product with b vector, it can be written as ax bx plus ay by plus az bz. So this is how we write the formula for dot product. Now over here what we have is the second equation. Now we will go in the reverse manner. So from this equation we will write this first equation. So here we have del u by del x, del u by del y, del u by del z. So we will write this term in the form of a vector. So this will be I cap del u by del x plus j cap del u by del y plus k cap del u by del z, and all other components dx, dy, dz, they can be written in terms of dx I cap, dy j cap plus dz k cap with the dot product. So on solving this expression you will get the previous equation. So this is how we separate the components, this is how we separate the vectors. So from this equation we have gone in the reverse manner. Now this equation over here, this expression dx I cap, dy j cap and dz k cap, it is the vector that we have moved, which is dr vector. So this is the distance, this is the displacement vector from P point to Q point. So this will be the dr vector. This expression, it can be written in the form of, this is the one vector dot product with another vector. So this can be written as a vector dot b vector will be equal to ab cos theta, and theta is the angle between these two vectors. So we can write the magnitude of first vector, then the magnitude of the second vector, which is dr vector, times cos of theta. So this is the dr vector or the displacement vector. So when we are moving from one point to another, so there comes the displacement vector. This vector over here, the first vector which is shown, which is written in the bracket, this is the gradient of the scalar function. This is gradient of the scalar function dot product with dr vector. Now what is the magnitude of the gradient as well as what is the direction of the gradient of a scalar function? To find the magnitude and direction, first of all, in this expression, this is equal to du and this is equal to du. So this is the total change in the scalar function when we are moving from one point to another. So there is a change in the scalar function, and that is given by du when we are moving dr vector distance. So this can be written in the form of ab cos theta. Now this right hand side, it will be maximum when cos of theta is equal to 1. That is when the angle theta between the gradient and the dr vector is equal to 0. When this angle is 0, in that case this right hand side will be maximum, or you can say the change in the scalar function will be maximum. So I am repeating, the change in the scalar function, it will be maximum when dr vector it is pointing along the gradient vector. When dr vector it will point along the gradient vector, in that case the change in the scalar function will be maximum. So this gradient of a scalar function, it points along the maximum change in the scalar function. This gradient of a scalar function, it is a vector quantity. So at a particular point there will be some direction and the magnitude of the gradient. So this vector, it tells us the direction. The direction of the gradient is the direction in which there is a maximum change in the scalar function. So for maximum change in u, that is du maximum, cos of theta should be equal to 1. So from this last expression we are using cos of theta is equal to 1. So du max will be equal to the magnitude of the gradient times dr, times the magnitude of dr, and cos of theta we have put is equal to 1. In that case the right hand side will be maximum, so the left hand side will also be maximum. So du is maximum when dr vector it is pointing along the gradient. So now how do we define the gradient of a scalar function? So this gradient, it has a magnitude as well as it has direction. So the magnitude of the gradient, this is the magnitude of the gradient. Over here we have written in bars, this is the magnitude of the gradient of the scalar function. So this is defined as, so on simplifying this expression, this magnitude will be equal to du max divided by dr. Du max divided by dr will give us the magnitude of the gradient. So this is the spatial rate of change of the scalar field. So du by dr is the spatial rate of change of, spatial means space coordinates are changing. So du by dr is the space coordinates which are changing. So du by dr will be the spatial rate of change of the scalar function. Now we are talking about the maximum change. So the maximum value of du by dr, the maximum value of du by dr will give us the magnitude of the gradient of a scalar function. So when you will take this dr on the left hand side, you will get the maximum value of the spatial rate of change of the scalar field function at a particular point. That will give us the magnitude of a gradient. So gradient of a scalar field at a point, it is defined as the maximum value of the spatial rate of change of scalar field function at that point. And what is the direction of the gradient? It points in the direction of maximum increase in the function u. So this points in the direction of maximum increase in the function u. Now we are going to take an example and show that gradient of u, how this vector it points in the maximum change in the scalar function u. So we have drawn over here the x, y and z axis, and there is some scalar field function which is present in space. So let's say the scalar field function is u. So at every point in the space there will be some value of u. So there will be some magnitude of u. Now u is a scalar function, so there will be no direction, there will be only magnitude. So gradient of u is given by this expression, which is I cap del u by del x plus j cap del u by del y plus k cap del u by del z. So this is defined over a point in the space. So let's say if I find the gradient at this point, so that will be different from the gradient at another point. So gradient is defined at a single point in the space. So it will vary from point to point. Now let's suppose the scalar function, let's say it is equal to minus x into y into z. So I am taking an example just to show how the gradient it points along the maximum change in the scalar function. So let's suppose u is equal to minus xyz. So at every point in the space there will be some value of u by putting the values of xyz. So at the origin the u will be equal to 0, then on all the axes, on the y-axis the z and x coordinates are 0, on the z-axis the x and y coordinates are 0, and on the x-axis y and z coordinates are 0. So u is equal to 0 on the axis as well as on the origin. So when you will put u is equal to 1, 1, 1, so then you will get a value of u. Then if you will put x is equal to x, y and z is equal to 1, 2, 3, so you will get a different value of u. So there are some unique values of u which are present in space. Now we will find what is the gradient of u at a point. So gradient is given by del u by del x I cap. So del u by del x. So when you will do the partial differentiation of u with respect to x, you will take y and z as constant. So this will be equal to minus yz. First term will be equal to the minus yz. We have to do the partial differentiation with respect to x. Then you will do the partial differentiation with respect to y. You will get minus xz. Then you will do partial differentiation with respect to z. You will get minus xy. So at point, let's say we are finding the gradient at point P, which is 1, 1, 1. So P point, it has coordinates 1, 1, 1. So when you will put the values of x, y and z or the coordinates of P, the gradient of u at this point, it will come out to be equal to. So this is the general expression of gradient for this scalar function. At a particular point, if you want to find the gradient, you will have to put the coordinate, the values of the coordinate. So we will put y, z and x as equal to 1 in this expression. So gradient of u at 1, 1, 1, it will be equal to minus I cap, minus j cap, minus k cap. So this is the gradient of this particular scalar function which we have taken as an example. So the gradient of this scalar function at point 1, 1, 1, that is at point P, it is minus I cap, minus j cap, minus k cap. So this direction, this vector gradient of u at this point, it will point along minus I cap, minus j cap, minus k cap. So the direction of the gradient will be along this. So this is the direction of the gradient of u. So this is the gradient of u. It has some magnitude can be found out, and it has some direction. And the direction of this gradient at point P, at this point where the coordinates are 1, 1, 1, at this point the direction will be in the minus x, minus y and along minus z direction. So it will point in this direction. So this is the direction of the gradient at 1, 1, 1. Now what we have written, du is equal to the total change in the scalar function is equal to gradient of u dot product with dr vector. This is the last expression that we had written, that the total change in the scalar function is equal to the gradient of u dot product with the displacement vector. So from this point, if you will move a small distance from this point, so let's say you move in this direction. So this is the displacement vector, dr vector, and let's say at this point the value of the scalar function is equal to u1, and when you are moving along this direction, so let's say at this final point the value of u, it comes out to be equal to u2. So there is some change in the scalar function that will be equal to u2 minus u1 when you are moving in this direction. So you can again change the direction. So from this point you can also go in this direction. So dr vector will point in this direction. So let's say at this final point the scalar function is given by u3, because scalar field is nothing but that it has unique values at all the points in the space. So let's say at this point it has u2 value, at this point it has u3, and at the point which we are considering it has u1 value. So when you are moving along this direction, the change in the scalar field is equal to u3 minus u1. So there will be some change in this direction and there will be some change in this direction. But when you are moving along the gradient, but when you are changing your position along the gradient, so now you have reached this point, final point, and dr vector, it is pointing along the gradient of the scalar field at this point. So at this point the direction of the gradient is fixed. At a particular point the direction of the gradient is always fixed. So from here you can see at a particular point the gradient, it has a particular direction which is minus I cap, minus j cap, minus k cap. So it will point in this downward direction. So Now the displacement vector, from this point you are changing your coordinates. Now if you are changing your coordinates along the gradient, so this is the dr vector, and let's say you reach this point, and at this point the scalar function, it has u4 value. So along the gradient there is also some change in the scalar function. Let's say it has changed to u4. So this change u2 minus u1, this change u3 minus u1, and this change when you are moving along the gradient, that is u4 minus u1. So from all these changes, this u4 minus u1, it will be maximum of all the changes. So u2 minus u1 will also be less than u4 minus u1, then u3 minus u1 will also be less than u4 minus u1. So when you are moving along the gradient, when you are displacing along the gradient of the scalar function at that particular point, when you are moving along that direction, so in that case the change in the scalar function is maximum. So this is the meaning of the maximum change in the scalar function. So du is given by, general expression is gradient of u dot product with dr vector. So du, it can be written as gradient of u magnitude, then dr vector magnitude times cos of theta. Now this theta, it is the angle between gradient of u and dr vector. So this is the dr vector in first case, and gradient is pointing in this direction. So the direction of gradient is fixed at a particular point. So this will be the angle between gradient of u and dr vector. So when you are moving in this direction, the angle will decrease, and when you are moving along the gradient, the angle will be equal to 0. So when theta is equal to 0, so when theta will be equal to 0, that is dr vector, it is pointing along the gradient. In that case right hand side will be maximum, means du will be maximum. So when you are moving along the gradient of the scalar function, in that case the change in the scalar function is maximum. So this is the significance of the gradient, that the direction of the gradient at a point in the space, it gives us the direction of the maximum change of that scalar function. So scalar function at this point, it will change by maximum amount along the gradient. So this is the physical significance of the gradient of a scalar function. So the gradient of a scalar field at a point, it points in the direction of the maximum increase of the function u. So this is the physical significance, and this also gives us the direction of the gradient of u. So gradient of u, it is given by I cap del u by del x, and this is also written as del vector. It is operated on the scalar function. Now what is the direction of gradient of u for the case of a level surface? Now what are level surface? So let's say you have some scalar field which is distributed in the space. Now for example, the equipotential surfaces. Now potential, it is a scalar quantity. The equipotential surfaces are those surfaces over which the potential, it remains constant. So the surfaces over where the potential remains constant, they are called as equipotential surfaces. So level surfaces, they are those surfaces over which the scalar field, the value of the scalar field, it remains constant. So those are called as level surfaces. So example of a level surface is the equipotential surface, because potential is also scalar quantity, and equipotential surfaces are those surfaces over which the potential, it remains constant. So let's suppose this is the level surface. This is a general level surface. On this surface, the scalar field, it will have same value. So at this point also it will have same value, at this point also, this point also. So this is the level surface. So for the level surface, change in the scalar function is equal to 0, because the scalar function, it has same value over whole level surface. So when you are moving from one point to another point on the level surface, now you are moving from one point to another point on the level surface. So this will be the dr vector. So this will be the dr vector. So you are moving along the level surface, on the level surface from one point to another. So dr vector, it will be in the plane of the level surface. So dr vector, it will lie in the plane of this level surface. And we are talking about level surfaces, and level surfaces are those for which the scalar function is seen on all the points on the surface. So du will be equal to 0 when you are moving from one point to another point. So du is nothing but is equal to del vector, the gradient dot product with dr vector. So if du is equal to 0, so this expression will also be equal to 0, means gradient of u dot product with dr vector, it will also be equal to 0. So in this case, the left hand side is 0 only when the angle between gradient of u and dr vector is equal to 90 degree. So this left hand side is equal to 0 only when these two vectors are perpendicular to each other. So now the dr vector for the case of level surface, we are moving from one point to another point on the level surface. So therefore we have put du is equal to 0 and dr vector is pointing, it is placed in the plane of the level surface. Therefore gradient of u, it will be perpendicular to the level surface. So the direction of the gradient of a scalar function for the level surface, the direction of this gradient is always perpendicular to that level surface. So this is how the direction of the gradient is perpendicular, because left hand side will be equal to 0 only when the angle between these two vectors is equal to 90 degree and dr vector is pointing in this direction, that is it is on the plane of the level surface. So gradient of u, it must be perpendicular to the plane of the level surface. So therefore gradient of u, it points, it is perpendicular to the level surface.